Got one. Got that one. What is good, everybody? Welcome back to Cross Country Bank Angler. I've got an interesting video here for you where, I went out and did some fishing, and, it was a day where, it was really hot and the bite was kind of tough. I went out there, caught a couple of fish on some reaction lures, but for the most part, the fish were pretty inactive. But it was also a day where once I figured things out, just a small tweak to my presentation ended up making a big difference. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll the footage, and we'll talk a little bit more about that tweak afterwards, and I'll give you some reflections, some remarks on how things went that day and how you can maybe catch a few more bass this time of year, mid to late summer, when it's super hot out, super muggy, and sometimes the fish are just really uncomfortable and not as willing to bite. So without further ado, let's get into the footage. There's a fish, guys, on the buzzbait. Don't you shake that. Don't you shake that. Don't you do it. Yes. Nice. It's like a 2-pounder. Yeah, he got it good too. He wasn't going anywhere. All right. That was sweet, guys. That was sweet. Pretty much hit it right as it touched down. Beautiful fish. Beautiful fish. Love the colors on the fish in this lake. Kind of a gold green color. Let's get a picture and let him go. That was awesome. All right, thank you, fish. You can go at your leisure. Yep. Nice. Nice fish, guys. Just kind of fan casting with the buzzbait here. This is one that I built a couple years ago. Black with a gold blade, and then I've got a Stanley ribbit frog on the back. I'm not sure what that color's called, but normally I don't fish this with a trailer. I actually like to just fish the buzzbait by itself a lot of the time. But I just thought I'd try it out today. It does, it makes it just changes up the presentation a little bit. I think it helps it track a little straighter, stay on the get up to the surface slightly easier. Gives it a little more profile. So, did it make a difference in that catch? I don't really know, but I've been seeing some, the occasional topwater disturbance out here, so. And in the past, this has been a good lake for it. They haven't been going crazy or anything for this. That was only the second bite that I've gotten on it. Alright guys, so I've been looking around. There's definitely some evidence of other people fishing out here, so that could be part of why the bite seems kind of tricky right now. There's just more pressure going on, but I've seen several of these swim bait bodies with the tails bitten off. Also found this. Look at this, guys. It's like a whopper plopper style topwater. I don't think this is an original whopper plopper. It might be some kind of knockoff, but it's got a soft tail. But look at these hooks. These are the worst treble hooks I've ever seen. I mean, how could you possibly expect to catch anything with those hooks? But I'm gonna take these plastics home. This is some kind of ribbon tail also, and I'll try to clean up this plopper, put some new hooks on it. Maybe we can this can be fishable again. Why are they not holding on to it? Right here. Got one. Nice. Ooh. Here we go, guys. It's like a 11-incher. Second cast after switching colors there to that June bug and the yum dinger, that stickworm. Another one. All right. It's not big fish, but smaller fish is better than no fish right now, guys. Maybe 10 inches. Dark fish here. Dark bass. Appreciate you, buddy. All right, it seems like that color change is making all the difference. These last two fish came out of a shady pocket over here, so I'm kind of looking for shade. Makes perfect sense for the fish to be relating to shade right now. It is really hot out. The water in here is warm, like a little bit unpleasantly warm. So I can see where these fish are coming from by going into the shade where the water is a little cooler. Makes sense. I'll be doing the same thing if I were a bass right now. It's hot. It's probably a situation where the deeper into the shade we can get, the better. That cast was like on the edge. Got that one. Alright, that's fish number 4. Third one on the dinger. That time I think I just need to wait a tiny bit longer and they'll get it, but sometimes I get nervous doing that because I don't want them to swallow the hook. Okay, like an 11-incher right there. Not the type of fishing that, you know, it's not my favorite method of catching them, you know, just dragging a young dinger around, but when it's hot like this, sometimes you just gotta adapt, guys. All right, sir. So yeah, maybe I'm just getting a little impatient because they're hitting it and trying to kind of swim off with it pretty fast, and basically, like I said before, pull the rod out of my hand, and at that point, my instinct is to set the hook. But if you don't do it at the right time, you just miss the fish. There we go. There's a fish. I think this is the smallest one of the day. I will say, you know, we've been catching them by switching over to this, but the average size has gone down. No 2-pounders are going for this. That's just a little dink. See you, buddy. Healthy condition for a dink, I'll say that. Oh, doggone it. Oh, are you kidding? The chain pickerel, guys. Not a big one. He bit my hook off. Bit through 15-pound test line. It wasn't even a big one. So there goes another bait. Got one, guys. Decent one too. Haha. Hold on, fish. We're going to get you. Stop. All right, guys, there's another one. That's our 5th fish on the Yum Dinger. That's the biggest one so far on it, at least in terms of length. He's kind of skinny, but here we go. Yeah, a little bit of a skinny guy there. About a 12, 13-incher. Appreciate you, fish. Ooh, this water is just hot. I thought I was gonna jump. Got one, guys. Feels like a good one. Yep, that's a decent one. Nice. That was the first cast, guys, with the black and blue chattering bait. Yes, sir. That was... Wasn't expecting an instant hit like that. I mean, I threw so many casts over there with that swim bait. If I catch another one on this, I'm going to be kicking myself a little bit, because that means we should probably been throwing this the whole time. Alright, people. So you can see out there, hope you enjoyed that footage, by the way. Caught a decent number of bass, even though it was kind of a grind. You know, it took a lot of time to kind of get the bites that we got. We had to really work for them a little bit more. So yeah, we caught a few on moving baits that day. You know, we caught one on the buzz bait there at the beginning. That was kind of what I started with there. But really the most consistent fish catcher that day was just the good old stick worm, you know, Senko, as a lot of people call them. This one here is a Yum Dinger. This is the 5-inch size, which is the most popular size in June bug. So you can see that June bug color there. Kind of distinctive. It's purple with a kind of an iridescent blue. And it's a distinct shade of blue, kind of almost a turquoise blue flake in it. It's a fairly well-known color, I think. So maybe this, you know, if you use June bug, then you know what it's all about, probably. But I feel like in this type of bait, it doesn't get talked about a whole lot. Most people just throw like a green pumpkin or something like that. But for whatever reason, that day out there at the lake, you know, I tied on I think it was a pumpkin, watermelon seed was the color. So a green worm with black flakes, exact same size, just the color, that was the only difference. Same hook, same presentation, you know, just weedless and weightless like this for a slow sinking fall. You know, we were getting like short strikes, and you know, a lot of the fish were just kind of grabbing the like the tail back here, you know, the pointy end, so they weren't getting the hook. So it was kind of like they were hesitating to strike that color in the dinger. For whatever reason, they were just not that into it. I definitely caught some fish on that color there before, but you know, that lake has changed a bit over the years. It's gotten a bit more of that kind of darker color to the water, a little bit more stained than usual. And it was also just super hot. You know, the water in there, even on the hot days, it used to not get as warm because I think that lake was getting fed more by, you know, streams and other inflows that kind of keep the water moving, keep it oxygenated, and keep it from getting so warm and stagnant. But it was really warm that day, you know, upper 90s, I think the air temp was. Water was probably in the upper 80s or maybe 90s. So the fish were not in a great mood because of that. They were uncomfortable. But we made this switch to the June bug and almost immediately started getting bites. Now, we didn't really catch any truly like big fish on this, or really any truly big fish on this trip in general. You know, everything was kind of like, you know, in that like 10 to 12 inch range, with a couple of nicer ones that on some of the moving baits. But this definitely caught the most bass that day. So I guess my tip for you then is, you know, when it's hot out, you know, in the middle of the summer, and maybe you're throwing your kind of your go-to kind of natural patterned worm, or really other soft plastic. But yeah, like this could be, you know, something like the dinger, or a different type of worm, you know, a curly tail worm, a creature bait. Like this is another one that I like to throw every now and then. This is the same color, but this is a yum lizard. But something about that color when the water is warm and maybe a little darker than usual seems to get the fish to commit a little bit more. Definitely did this, on this trip. But yeah, that's my tip for you guys. If you don't have a June bug plastic in your arsenal during the summertime, particularly with more stained water, and I really think of this more for lakes and ponds, pick up something in this June bug pattern, guys. Start pitching it around the cover, letting it sink, gently dragging it out of that cover a couple times, and you may be surprised about the difference that it makes in the number of bites you get and the number of fish that you actually catch. Because maybe you're sitting there with your green pumpkin worm and you're just getting a couple of nibbles or short strikes, or maybe you're catching one here or there, but this could just help up your catch rate a little bit, guys. Good old June bug. It's a cool color. I don't know, I think it just stands out to the fish a little bit more. With that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little tip. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you made it all the way to the end here, to the kind of educational portion of the video, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. Got more fishing videos with tips at the end to help you catch more fish, whether it's bass or other species out there. So with that being said, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Peace.